JEM is my name, no one else is the same. JEM is my name. JEM.
So JEM and the Holograms cross the pond to go to England somewhere and participate at a Ren fair. And guess who's there too? Rio. Yeah, this is a Misfits-less episode. This might be like only the second episode that doesn't have the Misfits in it. I wonder if the Misfits are like, Ren fair, wait, So, JEM and the Holograms are at the Renaissance Fair and they're performing, and it takes place at a real castle with a real lord, although the lord died 2 decades ago and the heir is not yet 21 or however old he has to be. But his birthday is tomorrow night, so he will soon be Lord of Carfax. Yeah, it's not just a service you use to see the history of a car you want to buy, it's actually a castle. So, at the Ren Fair, JEM and the Holograms, let me back up a second. So they're doing their set, and Dance is there too. And what's kind of funny is they're like, all right, we're starting our tune, and Dance is in the backstage furiously tying her ballerina slippers on. It's like, Dance, maybe put the shoes on before they start the set. But she makes it, and she gets out onto stage and lives up to her name. And pre-Lord Carfax is sitting up on the castle rampart somewhere, and he's like, oh, she's so pretty. And it cuts back to JEM, and he's like, Dance, and he's like, oh, she's so pretty. And it cuts back to her dancing. He's like, oh, she's so pretty. And I'm like, dude, you lean any further forward and you are going to tumble off the castle. Be careful. But he doesn't fall off. He says, I must know who that person is. I mean, she's like this big from here, but I'm pretty sure she's hot.
I must meet her somehow.
Can't really see her from this distance well, but, you know, the lady radar never fails. So, Dance and JEM and the Holograms are... Oh, it's funny, because he's like, hey, people of Ren Fair, JEM and the Holograms! And JEM and the Holograms are waving from the stage. And Rio's on the stage, too, and he's waving. It's like, get off the stage, Rio. You're a roadie. You're a tech dude. You're not part of the band, you plant kicker. So, JEM and the Holograms wandering around the Ren Fair, and they see what they think might be a skit with Robin Hood showing up to rob the castle guards. And then they find out that, oh, the castle guards actually did get robbed by this dude. And then Dance is, yeah, but he's really hot, so I'm sure he had a good reason. So, turns out that at this Renaissance Fair, at Castle Carfax, that has a real lord who's going to be a pre-lord who's going to take over as Lord of Carfax as soon as midnight the next night. And there's also Robin Hood there, who's stealing from the rich, the Carfax castle, who is stealing from the poor. Let me say that again. Okay, so the castle guards are shaking down all of the Renaissance Fair vendors, and Robin Hood is stealing the money back and giving it back to the vendors, because hero, you see. So not only do we have a literal modern-day Robin Hood named Robin, his name is Robin Goodfellow, because Goodfellow. He also shoots a bow and arrow really, really well, and pre-Lord Carfax is like, we're going to have an archery tournament to lure in Robin, and Dance is like, oh no, I must warn him, so she wanders off into the forest and just, Robin! And he's like, yes? Oh, well, heck. That worked out well. I could have been at this for hours, but I just happened to run into you. And he's like, yeah, I know it's a trick, but I'm going to let myself get captured so I can get thrown into the castle so that I can have a chance to find out what happened to the real Lord Carfax, because this dude is a weenie and he shouldn't be Lord Carfax, and I've got to find the legitimate heir before midnight on his birthday tomorrow. So Robin, of course, is awesome at shooting arrows, and he gets kidnapped. So Gem and the Holograms are like, all right, we're gonna dress up like Robin Hood too, and we're gonna storm the castle. And they do, with a song called "To the Rescue," which is really good. And Jem's just jumping into the fray, sword is swinging, and Rio jumps into the fray, punching people. It's great. Just pretend they're plants, Rio. One drawback is this is yet another episode where, at least the way it plays on my PS4, the songs are playing back. The music and the the vocals are slightly out of sync. Not as bad as they were in the previous episode, but still, yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it on my PC later to really get a sense of the songs. But I liked what I heard of "To the Rescue." Also, all 3 songs, no repeats from last season or earlier in this season. These are all new songs, so yay! Unless I forgot, but I think all 3 of them are new, so that's great. Also, the first song is "Love's Not Easy," which one of my viewers, Daniel Roberto, I think, told me back in the Island of Deception episode in the first season that "Love's Not Easy" was originally planned for that episode, because there's a scene where they're stuck on an island and they find a guy who's been stuck there for a couple of months, and he's like, "Oh my god, Stormy, you're so hot, I love at first sight." And she's like, "Oh man, love's not easy for me." So apparently this was originally meant for there, and here it is. So it may have been a reprised song in some alternate universe, but not the one we live in. So 3 new songs, yay. Gem and the Holograms and Rio and Dance. Dance, the pre-Lord Carfax says, "Hey, Dance, I saw you from 6 miles away, and I was really turned on by that tiny speck moving on stage, so come to dinner with me, and I promise I won't be really creepy about it." So Dance is like, "Okay, I'll distract this guy while you guys infiltrate the castle and see what's what." So they do, they split up, they find Robin locked in a dungeon, and Rio says, "Okay, all we've got is this rusty nail. I'll do what I can to get him out, but Shayna and I think Kimber, you guys look around to see if you can find something else to spring the jail cell with." They find boxes of explosives. They're like, "Hey, we found something better than a rusty nail to use as a locksmith pick. We've got boxes of explosives. They're actually fireworks, but we can blow the door apart." And Rio's like, yeah, and him. You didn't think this through, did you, Kimber? And so basically Little John shows up, and he's like, "I've got this," and he takes his staff and whack! And just smacks the crap out of the lock, and it shatters, and it's like, oh man, just a swift plant kick from Rio. That busted the door open just fine. Wish we would have known that before. Okay, so Robin's free, and they say, "Okay, we need to buy a little time." Rio says, "Okay, I've been doing your guys' pyrotechnics for a while, so we're going to use the fireworks and the hoard of gold that Carfax has stolen from the people, and we're going to strap wads of cash to fireworks and fire it over to the crowd to give them their money back." And Rio's so good at this that he manages not to singe a single pound. Well done, Rio. So Gem is looking around, and she finds the original Lord Carfax, who they had just walled up in the catacombs somewhere, like literally walled him up with bricks. And he's like, "What are you doing?" And they're standing there with brick and mortar, and they're like, "Dude, what's it look like we're doing?" Oh, you're walling me up. Yes, the bricks and the mortar should have really tipped me off. Oh, okay, yeah. Dumb question. I know they say there's no such thing as a dumb question, but I proved that adage wrong. Ooh. Man, that's just embarrassing. Tell you, can you brick me up even faster? Because, oh man, egg on my face. Oh, and they mix this whole thing with Man in the Iron Mask, because, original Lord who's supposed to be dead, they have the Iron Mask on, so no one knows who he is. Don't know why they didn't just kill him 20 years ago, but he's still alive. So Jem pulls the wall down, brings him out to the crowd who's picking up the non-singed pound notes, monies, and says, "Here's the real Lord Carfax, and he's your real lord, and that guy who's a weenie is still a weenie, and he gets thrown in the dungeon." And Dance and Robin Goodfellow, they share a last dance. They do. But he says, "Hey, you want to, stay and be Lady Carfax?" And she says, "I like you. You're really special. You got a tight-toned little butt that looks great in tights. But I'm not really one for whirlwind romances, so last dance," and they dance, and that's the end of the episode. So, fun episode. Had some what sounded like good songs. I really like "To the Rescue." I'm gonna check that out, play it back on my PC, so hopefully either that or the jukebox version has the sound and lyrics sync a lot better, or dare I ask, perfectly.
After her, you fool!
At once, my lord! Find her! Throw her in the tower with the others!